Hello and welcome. You know that feeling when you're staring at a huge UPSC mains question and you just don't know where to start? Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to tackle a classic question on free speech, and I'm going to show you exactly how to break it down and turn it into a high-scoring, perfectly structured answer. Okay, let's get into it.
So here it is. This is the beast we're up against. A question from back in 2014. And look at it, it's juggling three big ideas all at once. What is freedom of speech? What's its relationship with hate speech? And then why are films treated so differently? It's a classic UPSC move, right? Dense, multi-layered, and it really asks a lot of you. But figuring out how to decode this, that's what makes all the difference.
So, what's the plan? We're not going to get overwhelmed, we're going to get strategic. This isn't about just dumping everything you know on the page. It's about precision. It's about structure. So yeah, let's crack this code together. Okay, first things first. We have to decode the question itself. The instructions for how to write the perfect answer are literally hidden right there in the words. We just need to find that blueprint. And there it is. See? Once you break it down, that big, scary block of text just becomes three simple, manageable tasks. First, we define the main concept. Second, we analyze a specific challenge to it, hate speech. And third, we explain a very particular exception, which is films. This is our roadmap. Simple as that.
Now you have to pay really close attention to this one little word at the end, discuss. This isn't just a suggestion, it's a direct command from the examiner. They're not asking you to just list facts. They're asking you to explore the topic from different angles, to weigh the arguments, and to present a really balanced, thoughtful analysis. Getting this command word right sets the entire tone for your answer.
All right, blueprint in hand, it's time to stock our conceptual toolbox. To build a really strong argument, we need the right tools, the correct definitions, the key legal articles, and of course, the landmark cases that back it all up.
Tool number one, the big one, freedom of speech and expression. We know it's a fundamental right guaranteed by Article 19(1)(a), but, and this is so important, it is not absolute. You've got to mention Article 19(2), which allows for reasonable restrictions. Think of it like the Constitution's built-in fine print that balances our individual freedoms with the good of society.
So, back to that key part of the question. Does this freedom protect hate speech? Well, the answer is a clear and absolute no. The Constitution is very specific about this. Protected speech is about expressing ideas. Hate speech is different. It's about inciting hatred and threatening public order. It's not just unprotected, it's actually punishable under the law, like in the Indian Penal Code. Making that distinction is absolutely critical for your answer.
Now, what about that third piece of the puzzle? Why are films treated differently? You know, the Supreme Court actually gave us the perfect line. They called film a medium that affects public sensibilities. What a brilliant way to put it. It captures the power, the massive reach, and that deep emotional impact that movies can have.
And this special status isn't just an idea, it's written into law. Unlike a newspaper article or a book, a film has to get a certificate from the CBFC before anyone can see it. The key case to mention here is S. Rangarajan. That's the one that really cemented this idea, that because of film's unique power, the state has to balance the filmmaker's right to expression with the interests of society.
Okay, our toolbox is officially stocked. We've got the concepts, we've got the articles, we've got the cases. Now for the fun part. Let's see how we assemble all these pieces into that perfect 200-word answer. We're going to use that classic time-tested structure that just always works. A sharp intro, a well-supported body, and a punchy conclusion. This framework gives your answer clarity and makes sure you hit every single part of the question in a logical way. Your introduction has to make a strong first impression. Don't beat around the bush. Start right away by defining freedom of speech. Immediately cite Article 19(1)(a), and then quickly introduce the idea of reasonable restrictions from 19(2). This tells the examiner from the very first sentence that you know exactly what you're talking about. The body paragraph, this is where you do all the heavy lifting. You've got to tackle each part of the question one by one. First, hit the hate speech point head on, explaining why it's not protected and citing the IPC. Then pivot to films, talking about the Cinematograph Act. And to really elevate your answer, you need to back it all up with case law. S. Rangarajan is a must for films, and throwing in Shreya Singhal shows you have a broader understanding of free speech.
And finally, you've got to stick the landing with a great conclusion. Don't bring in any new facts here, just summarize your main arguments and end with a balanced, thoughtful statement. A really powerful way to do this is to talk about how our fundamental rights, like free speech, come hand in hand with civic responsibilities. It shows a deeper level of thinking.
So, we've built our answer, but let's do one last thing. Let's try to look at this from the examiner's point of view. What are they really hoping to see when they pick up your paper? Let's peek at their checklist for a second.
And here it is. This is basically their grading sheet. They're checking for 4 main things. 1. Do you have constitutional clarity? Do you know your Article 19? 2. Can you make that crucial distinction between protected speech and hate speech? 3. Do you get the specifics of why films are different? And 4. Is your overall approach balanced and analytical, not just a one-sided rant? If you can tick all 4 of these boxes, you are well on your way to an excellent score.
All right, time for a quick pop quiz just to make sure all this is sinking in. I mentioned it a moment ago. Which landmark case is the one famous for protecting our online free speech by striking down that controversial Section 66A of the IT Act? Any ideas?
Yes, exactly. Shreya Singhal versus the Union of India. An absolutely monumental judgment that confirmed that our speech online gets the same protection under Article 19(1)A. It's such a great case to have in your back pocket for any free speech question.
And just like that, we've cracked the code. We took a really complex question and we built a logical, evidence-based, and high-scoring answer. But, it leaves us with one final thought. The principles we've talked about, they were designed for a world of printing presses and movie theaters. How do they hold up today? In an age of AI and deepfakes, how do we need to evolve this delicate balance between freedom and restriction? Well, that's the big question for all of us to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.